Hey, it's autumn. This is day 2 of my vlog, and it is going to actually be about an R4 trick this time, or rather, what to do in order to communicate with your alliance. I wanted to talk a bit more about R4 stuff because this is a part of the game that a lot of people don't ever really communicate. So yeah, this is going to be what it's about. So there are 3 tools that you can use to communicate with your alliance, and the first one is the alliance notice. So you go to it. You can actually rewind and watch this again, but you go to it by going to the alliance tab and then tapping on the alliance notice, and then you can change it. There are 2 tabs, the schedule and the launch immediately. So obviously I do the scheduling one. The alliance notice has a particular thing to it, where I tend to always put the date at the top, the most immediate and urgent things right on the top, the less urgent things underneath that, and then the sort of more minor stuff beneath that as well, and then bear at the very bottom because that's something that I put in every single day. That being said, I probably could experiment with moving them around, but I've just generally found that this way tends to work. As long as it's somewhere, it's there. I used to also do gift codes, but this particular state doesn't really have an issue with gift codes in that, we don't do it. But also, of course, there's always character limits on the chat itself, it can sometimes be difficult to fit everything in. Note here that if you do not finish editing it and you don't press done and you save it, when you quit out of the screen, you will lose everything. So normally I just do an unfinished one and then go out, check whatever I need to do, and then log back into it to edit. So you can change it to any day in the next couple of days, any time, down to sort of 5 to 15 minute increments. And yeah, it's just a really handy tool. The reason that I used an alliance notice this way is that there's really only 3 ways that you can communicate with your alliance unless you live on the game. And even then, it's not really guaranteed because quite a lot of people don't read. But alliance notices are one of those 3 major ways. There's this one, there's alliance messages, and then there are at-alls. And all 3 of them have the different limitations and benefits. So you kind of want to use them all in conjunction, and I do. There's also group chats, which is actually a 4th option, where you make a group chat with everybody in your alliance and then you send messages there. That's also another option, but personally I find that really administratively heavy, so don't do it. But it is an option. But alliance notices have the benefit where basically you are able to catch people who are not online at the same time, but it has character limits. It is, however, also extremely loud and it shows up as like an orange banner across the top of your screen, so it can catch a lot of attention. Personally, I only really use it as a schedule, but other people use it as a notification as well because it does catch attention. So now here I'm actually moving on to the dailies, basically how to do your dailies in a really quick manner. And the way I do it is basically to go in order and try to set up as many timers to run concurrently as possible. So basically I'm just going to highlight every single thing I'm going to do today, or in this particular stretch of the video, and just basically show you how little you actually need to do in order to complete all of your dailies, but you still kind of need to do them quite a few things. So at the beginning, I actually start in the Experts Academy, the Dawn Academy, even though it doesn't have a daily mission associated, just because it means that I can set up an idle trick to run while I do everything else, which means I can keep that clear and therefore get all the benefits from it. I will tend to go to do the arena next, just because it's directly underneath the Dawn Academy, and because I'm not strong enough on this account to really get into the top 100 or even barely into the top 500. I just do 5 and call it a day. There's no point in going any harder. For it, it will give you a couple of essence stones, but that's really about it. And you will be spending gems on it to get the additional 5 attempts, which is something that I can't really afford on a low spender to free to play account. So just going through those 5 here, then move on to the soldiers. So there is actually a way to make them slightly faster. If you train the soldiers from within the training screen like this, you will actually claim each of the soldiers as they come out, and that can save you some time. Then, of course, do the Crystal Lab, and then the War Academy, just claim the extra fire crystal shards, and they're actually skipped converting steel because I don't have quite enough. You want to keep a reserve of about 2 million. Did the pets, and then we move on to the intel once we are done with the pets. Oh, sorry, forgot. Claim the storehouse, start that timer off, claim stamina since you're there anyway, claim the enlistment tags, and claim the healing soldiers, and again get that started off, and then we go into the intel. So for intel, if you want to kind of optimize the amount of time that you are spending, you do the soldier troops first, the survivor second, and then the hero's journey last, because the soldiers have travel time, the camp also has travel time but shorter, and the hero's journey is more or less instant, but it does burn some other time that you can use to then go and claim some more online rewards, and also the keys if you were doing them the slow way and only using the free keys. At this point, I get a little distracted and go and claim other things, and also check on the Alliance Championship, which I will do today in order to get that. Back to the intel. And so for intel, I just tended to equalize as a habit out of doing smaller accounts which don't have enough soldiers. Intel is always going to be really easy for you to clear, so for me I just tend to equalize in order to get as much out of it as possible, just as fast as it goes. It also helps because on this account I just have enlistment to clear, which I will talk about in a couple of days, because in a relatively peaceful state, there's no rush in clearing enlistment, and this is a relatively peaceful state. Actually, no, it is straight up a peaceful state. There is no rush. I lost soldiers because of SVS, because I was an idiot and did a short-term shield, so lost troops. Okay, so at level 30, of course, you want to do as much intel as you can, because each intel gives you fire crystals and fire crystal shards, and for a low spend or free-to-play account, you need as many sources of fire crystals and fire crystal shards as you can. So in this particular case, I was intending on doing a slow way key, and then realized that I had started the key things a bit too late, so moved on to the fast way. But yeah, so of course 25 of your donations as well. And then, as you can see, you basically claim everything at once. There is 2 fast ways to claim your daily rewards that don't involve you going back into the city and then tapping on the storehouse. One of the ways is actually just to directly hit the claim online rewards from the daily missions. The other way is to go into the left scroll down menu, which was there earlier, and you'll get that effectively. Enlistment, there is you can get more enlistment currency out from gathering and from claiming the Romulus tags. And so, of course, one of the really fast ways to claim to get daily mission rewards is to actually send out 4 gathers. That is something that is basically required in most daily missions, because you will want to not upgrade your buildings or not research, because that takes up resources that you could use for the big upgrade events like KOI or SVS. And yeah, that's basically it. This is not the most like optimized way or fast way to do the dailies. There are ways I could have shrunk it down slightly faster, but I am still going to be doing the dailies for the next 2 accounts, so I just kind of like being a bit lazy. But yeah, so you're seeing this way as well, which is still a faster way. There is so basically the reason why I always try to do the online reward claiming outside of the city map is that every single time you tap it in the city map, it will scroll to the storehouse, which is slower than if you claim it from outside the city map. It's just a lot faster if you don't. And frankly speaking, I hate seeing the scroll because it takes like 3 to 5 seconds every single time. Whereas if you do it from outside the world map, it skips all of that, and you get like a 2-second climb. But yeah. So as you can see, I have told people about this, but not everyone does it. So that's just one of the issues, I suppose, with doing the with communication in general as an R4. So in this case, I kind of don't have the top. Okay, so I was actually trying to. So I had an R4 who was basically telling me that no, this is not true. So I was just kind of showing that yes, there is in fact a preview which gives you slightly more if you are looking at maximizing the amount of RSS that you get out the node. And showdown tomorrow is day 3, and that is another gathering day, so I will send 5 queues for gathering instead of 4. It doesn't affect the daily mission, but it does affect my points tomorrow, so the more gathering, the better. If you have 6 queues as well, which by the way is one of the good things to buy if you are intending on spending money in this game, you will want to always buy the March queue first, and then auto hunt if you can second, because the March queue is unable to be purchased in any other way.